Hello, this is Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. Hope you enjoy this video. Hello everybody, this is Josh Bycer from Game Wisdom. Once again, it's time for another episode of Game Wisdom Live for the week of November 3rd, 2016. James is feeling better and he is back on as my co-host. How are you doing, James?
I guess, like you just said, better. It's been kind of a hectic, turbulent week. I think it was all some bad stuff, some good stuff, some bleh stuff. So, wonders of Halloween.
Yep. How was your Halloween night? Did you do anything special?
Oh, no, like I said, that's when
Yeah.
I was going through a lot of some of the different stuff.
Yeah.
So, no, I didn't get a chance to do anything super
Yeah.
special.
Yeah, me neither. For this week, as always, we're going to recap some of the posts and some of the topics that have been going on Game Wisdom and what we've been finding out. First, unfortunately, no new Patreon subscribers. As always, if you have any suggestions for things to add or change, please let me know. But in terms of the YouTube subscriber count, we are now at a total of 884 subscribers. Thank you so very much for subscribing to the site and everything. I'm trying to
Hmm.
adjust Skype there. Skype's being weird with its little annoying ads. Let's see, can we do anything there? Yeah, I don't know. Is there any way to get rid of those ads that are popping up on Skype while we're talking?
I don't think so. It's one of those things. I think you have to actually pay for that.
Aw. Well, we'll see. We may just have to manage. I'll try and shrink it around, but we'll see. But some other site-related work I want to bring up here. I want to ask you folks regarding the amount of content that you're seeing on the Game Wisdom YouTube channel. As you know, the schedule is usually one medium to big video a day, and then the smaller critical thoughts. I, of course, have a backlog of pieces, some of the Let's Plays I've done, even more spotlights. I just want to ask you folks, would you like to see more content daily? As you know, it's hitting about an hour, maybe a little bit more than that, a day's worth of video. But I know that any more than that, it can be a little bit of a slog to watch. What do you think, James? Do you think that like an hour's worth of content a day is like more than enough for this channel?
I think for starters, yeah, it's a good amount, but
Mm-hmm.
keep in mind you're eventually, I think the people are gonna definitely speak for themselves, and the fans are gonna let you know exactly what they want.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing people were asking me about was putting up like the critical thoughts and maybe even some of the audio casts on I think it's called SoundCloud. It's
Okay.
one of the sound stream, another place that you can put up like music, radio stuff, anything like that.
Yeah.
So, for those of you watching, do you think that would be something you would like to see, or another addition to the channel and to the content?
Yeah, if so, then definitely leave messages, leave
Mm-hmm.
comments, and get a hold of us, and well, we'll make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make it so.
Other than that, for those of you watching this live or recorded, we're doing another developer hangout. I'm going to be talking with Robert Swan Friday at 3 o'clock on Twitch. We just did a podcast this week with him, and that's going to be probably going up in a few weeks at this point, but you can still enjoy the cast. I mean, we've done so many casts over the last like 2, 3 weeks, I've lost track of what guests we've spoken to already.
And who is Robert Swan again?
He does a streaming. He does a Twitch streaming when he's building a game. So he's a
Okay.
regular streamer there.
Oh, cool.
And for those of you watching this, if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast or on one of our live shows, if you like talking about game design industry, we're always looking for you. So be sure to send us a message, leave a comment, anything like that.
Mhm.
But I think with that, let's start with some topics. First, let me just make the little note on Twitter that we are going. There we go. So this week with Halloween, I didn't post anything for Halloween night, as I assume everyone was busy trick or treating or partying. So
Mhm.
the first post I made was looking at Clockwork Empires, and for those of you who were fans who've been paying attention, that was a game that I've been looking the most forward to. And while it has come out, I am somewhat disappointed in what's there at the moment.
Hmm.
They've been through over 50 alpha and beta versions of the game, and last month they announced that it was going to be going into 1.0, and this was just after another major update to the game's systems and design.
Hmm.
And a lot of people, including myself, felt that the game wasn't quite ready for prime time yet. And it seems like I think we were right. There are some still missing features, some bugs, and it's one of those very risky situations with game development is knowing when to go to 1.0, especially when you have an early access game.
Hmm.
Like for a lot of things, for a lot of game developers, like when traditional game design is simply, game is done, we release to 1.0. But with this idea of games as a service, it's getting harder to justify or know when your game is ready because you're going to be working on the game up until the day it's released, and then there's of course more content coming. And with a game like Clockwork Empires, it could be this amazing, one of a kind, you must buy game in a year from now. But
Yeah.
but you can't, unfortunately, like I said, I can't review a game on what could happen. It's the
Yeah.
same thing with No Man's Sky, which it sounds like that game may be it
No,
may be
no man's buy.
yeah,
Bye bye.
it sounds like the wings are on fire and we're in emergency descent right now.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been following it like too much. I know there are people who have been following it a lot more than I have, but it seems like there hasn't been any like updates or anything new to that game.
Yeah. Nah, I haven't heard anything later either, and which is kind of a travesty. But like I
Hmm.
said, that's
Hmm.
what they've done, and how that's all operated.
Yeah, and it's unfortunately a big issue on that front because people were promising that, they're saying this will be continued content and more work and all that. And there's nothing.
Well, then again, they got themselves in trouble with all the stuff they promised too. So
Yeah. And that's what I'm really concerned about with people looking at Clockwork Empires. As we know, with early access and crowdfunding, one rotten apple really spoils the bunch.
yes, very much so.
And like I said, Clockwork Empires, like Gaslamp, has done a lot of work to it, but I'm just afraid there's going to be a lot of people who are going to see what's at now, think the developers, cut and ran, and that could blow up in their face for whatever their next project is.
Yeah, very much so.
And I'm in talks right now with Gaslamp to get them on for a podcast at some point. So that will be very interesting. And also, as a really cool aside, as you know, the SAG after voice acting strike is going on right now.
Oh no, I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah, it's been going on for about 2 weeks now. As of this moment, they did the strike at, or I'm sorry, they picketed EA last week, and today they picketed in front of WB Games.
Wow.
And I'm actually talking with a few members there about getting them on for a podcast to talk about
Uh-huh.
voice acting and what's going on with the strike and their work.
Yeah, definitely.
It was pretty cool. I actually got a Twitter comment from Phil Lamar who was
Oh,
interested.
really?
Yeah,
Get him on
I know.
like yesterday. Seriously. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll tell you the truth. We got him on. That'd be really really nice. And plus, like I really that would be something I'd love to do because I've done
Hmm.
some voice work myself.
Yeah.
So I mean, nothing as big as Phil Lamar,
Hmm.
obviously,
Hmm.
but yeah, no, that'd be an amazing podcast if we can get him on there.
Yeah, right now it's still up in the air. They have to talk with, the union and the strike leaders about whether they can actually sit down and, talk about what's going on.
Yeah.
But I am in conversation with one of the members, so we're going to see if we can get something happening. And again,
Definitely. Yeah.
quicker we get it, the more awesome that would be.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And also, for those of you watching it, if you haven't heard, I'm developing some programs and presentations for local libraries and to talk about game design and various historical topics relating to games. And we may be in the works to have something going on next month in December. It's still a little bit up in the air at the moment, but if this goes through, this will be my first actual presentation, and then I have several planned throughout 2017.
Mm.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that. The realization that I actually have to sit down and make up all these PowerPoints like kicked in a week ago. I had
Yeah.
like one night of just like rocking in my bed in fetal position going, oh my god,
Uh,
how am I going to get all this done?
yeah.
But it's going and we'll see what happens.
That's good.
But I guess getting back on topic then with Clockwork Empires, like I
Mhm.
said, like even in my review, and this is one of those things that I find, even I can be very nitpicky. It's one of the things I think I've gone from reviewing so many games, and with Clockwork, like there are things that annoy me, and when something annoys me, I know it's going to probably drive other people insane when they play these kinds of games.
Uh-huh.
And I hate to, whenever I write reviews, especially for companies I like or developers I've spoken to, it always hurts when I have to write stuff negative about it. But
Yeah.
I have
Well,
to
but it's
be,
also it's how we learn
yeah,
too. It's definitely how.
you have to be objective, even if you're still having some of your subjective opinion. You still have to remain, you have to take the good with the bad. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And they already looked at the review and they agree with the concerns. It's not like I think that's the one thing about my style is that I don't tend to go into hyperbole. I don't say, this thing is just sucks, it's horrible,
Yeah.
screw the developers, all that stuff. I usually give valid reasons. And again, you
Yeah.
never like hear me get enraged and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, you definitely want to do that.
Hmm.
You don't ever want to get enraged either way,
Hmm.
or people are just not gonna respect you
Yeah.
as a game media personality. So
Hmm. Now, the other game I played this week, ooh, excuse me, and this is one I've been actually playing since last week, was Tom Clancy's The Division. And I think you talked about this. I think it was either on a cast or a previous
yeah,
episode, probably like a few months ago at the time of this stream slash video.
yeah. No, I've played that game as well. Um, yeah, yeah.
I
So what do you think? What did you think?
I like a lot of it, but
Uh-huh.
I don't like. I'm not falling in love with it. I hit the level cap, and
Yeah.
and there just doesn't seem to be anything to really like go for. Like it,
Hmm.
like I said in my review, it's trying to be an RPG, but it's also
Yeah.
trying to be a cover-based shooter, and the
Yep.
two aren't really coalescing together. I
Uh,
guess.
no, no, they can, they can. I mean,
Hmm.
keep in mind, when Mass Effect 3
Hmm.
took that route, I did, like, obviously they succeeded in that.
Hmm.
So it is possible, but how they did it, I think the added Diablo 3 elements
Hmm.
I almost felt like that was on a game that kind of tried to do too much. It was like it wanted to be this, it wanted to be
Hmm.
this, it wanted to be this, but it also wanted to be this, and it's like, we also want to have random loot, and we also want to do this, and like it. I think that was kind of one of the turnoffs for me. I know that specifically,
Yeah.
just doing way too much stuff.
Yeah, and with the division as it stands right now, they have the world tier system. That was the big 1.4 update that happened 2 weeks ago, I think, from when we're actually talking. And it's definitely setting them up for a system that they could extend it indefinitely. It's all stat based. So
Yeah,
instead of having an assault rifle that does 300 damage, let's have one that does 500 and
yeah.
700 and
The numbers, to have more numbers,
yes,
to get more
exactly.
numbers. It becomes number battle.
Hmm.
Yeah. Which,
But
I don't get me wrong, some people really enjoy that, like I
mhm,
said. But I don't know. I just felt like
mhm,
Diablo 3 even did it a lot better
yeah.
and had more of a point to it. So
Yeah, I think what they're missing is like more like uniqueness at the end game. Like when we look at Diablo 3, there's the set items and the
uh
legendaries.
yeah, and bounties. There were bounty quests.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. There was elite gear that you had to do.
Hmm.
Yeah, it had way more to do.
Hmm.
And
I
he,
mean,
Hmm.
that stuff could still come to the division. From reports I heard, they did push back a lot of their content to work on
Yes.
patch 1.4. So
Yes.
again, in 6 months from now, what we're talking about could no longer be relevant to the game.
Uh-huh.
But as it stands right now, I mean, I will say one thing that I did like. I liked how you're essentially defining your own class based on what you pick and what
Uh-huh.
weapons you use.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that was really cool, and just some of the tech the
Hmm.
tech play, and the you still had the classic RPG roles
Hmm.
like tanks and
Yeah.
DPS and healer and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Some of the harder missions, what were they? I can't remember what the final missions were called. The elite missions,
Incursions.
incursions.
Hmm.
Yeah, the incursions were kind of cool.
Yeah. And I think when the game is firing on all cylinders like that, you have a full group, completely different, builds going at once. It's a lot of fun to play.
Yes, definitely.
What did you think of the Dark Zone, James? Because I'm somewhat mixed about it.
Okay, so the Dark Zone to me is one of those things of it was added in for the multiplayer. To me, it was added into the Call of Duty fans. If
Hmm.
I want to be frank, I feel like it was added in for those people that like playing Call of Duty with their friends or even Battlefield or something. It was added for the people that love PvP.
Hmm.
And if you did not like PvP, you were not going to enjoy it. Um, I think it suffered from a lot of problems towards the end. There were just people that you knew all the farming spots, you knew how to farm run. It wasn't as what do you call it? Randomized
Hmm.
as I think they wanted it to be,
Hmm.
as what they were going for, and also like as far as as far as gaming as far as like story wise, now there's no story in the Dark Zone, but
Hmm.
the feel, like
Yeah.
the ambiance that you get into, real tell you the truth, I felt like it had they done the Dark Zone as normal gameplay,
Hmm.
I think that game would have blown it out of the water. Like
So you were saying like instead of having like the instance of like you go in the world's instance, it's basically everything is like sort of similar to the Dark Zone. It's all
yeah.
like there's no like separation essentially.
Yeah, I think because well, what they really wanted was that post-apocalyptic feel
Hmm.
of, oh my God, anybody could kill me at any time for any reason. We got to play. You know what I mean? We might,
Hmm.
but I also might find a really cool person and we can team up together. Like
Hmm.
it literally gave you that end of the world. What's gonna happen? I have no idea what's gonna happen here. Vibe.
Yeah.
Um, and the Dark Zone was one of the only times in the game that really did that for me.
Hmm.
All the other ones were just kind of like, oh, okay, standard RPG.
Hmm.
Go into dungeon, kill bad guy. Go into dungeon,
Yeah.
kill bad guy. Ooh, bigger bad guy. Do it with bigger numbers. That was one of those. But when you got to the Dark Zone, it very much was, holy crap! I played it solo and I played it with my friends. And I
Hmm.
remember when I was playing it with my friends, it was a sheer thing of, oh my God, there's a group of people. Are they going to fire at us? Are we going to fire at them? What's their build? I don't know. What do I know? I don't know. I don't know. What are we going to do? Okay, we're going to back up slowly. Back up slowly. Crap! The front area. Like it was. That was fun, and I enjoyed it. And I thought it really pushed what they were trying to
Hmm.
go for the feel of that
Yeah.
post-apocalyptic, anybody, every man for himself kind of gameplay.
Yeah, I really love like the look of the division. Like I was
Yeah.
said this in my review, it looks like this could very much be a horror game.
Uh,
Like the desolate streets of New York City, body bags and everything
yeah.
like piled up.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like what I thought of Anno Lundo from Dark Souls when it goes
Yes.
dark Anno Lundo.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, you could just take that and put it into a horror game and you wouldn't miss a beat. And the same thing
Very,
with
very true.
Division.
Yeah. Very true.
Uh,
Yeah. The division. If that's what they were going for, then I definitely say they achieved that.
hmm.
I kind of wish their mechanics
Hmm.
helped support
Yeah.
what they're going for as far as the ambiance. I tell you the truth, and I've heard this said by other YouTubers.
Hmm.
I think the very fact that it was Tom, can you put it down, baby?
Hmm.
I think the very fact that it was Tom Clancy
Hmm.
name was added onto it made it worse. I
Yeah.
think it made it worse, and not in the fact that I have a problem with Tom Clancy. No, I
Hmm.
think he's a great IP, but it limited them so much
Hmm.
with what they could do. That's one of those I half expected a wave of zombies to start pouring out of one of the things, or aliens, or demons, something other than human with gun.
Yeah,
And
and then like
yeah,
again, like the RPG elements started to feel really weird. Like there's elite humans who I can shoot in the face with a sniper rifle,
yeah, and
and they
they're
just
bullet
shrug it
sponges.
off.
They're bullet sponges.
Yeah.
They that and that and when it's a demon, a Krog demon from the depths of Borglock, yeah, I don't know what this thing is. I might have to shoot it a couple of times,
Or like
hundred,
if it's like a
30, 40
zombie
times.
virus or something
Yeah,
like
or
that.
if they
But
keep getting up, they're zombies or something like that. But when it's a human and I hit him with a sniper rifle, and the only reason that thing didn't die is because
hmm,
it was a boss,
yeah.
that kind of pulled me out of
Hmm.
the ambiance that I was fully enjoying.
Hmm. And
So
again, like it feels like it's pulled between two masters in that sense. Like
yeah,
it wants to be like this realistic military, future tech kind of thing, the Tom Clancy brand, but also
yes,
wants to be this RPG, guns that level up,
yeah,
a super
yeah,
rare shotgun, and then you have
yeah.
the normal quality version of the same shotgun.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, we've seen this before.
Hmm.
It was called
Yeah.
Borderlands, and but the what Borderlands had over it was the fact that Borderlands never took itself as seriously,
Oh yeah.
which you almost have to do if you're rocking the Tom Clancy title.
Yeah.
Tom Clancy almost never not takes himself seriously,
Hmm.
so it's just people go to Tom Clancy
Hmm.
for that reason.
Yeah. And I mean, even though we're saying these, I mean, I still like the game. I think I'm still going to
Yeah.
play
Oh
it
yeah.
on and off. But I think the real test, like I said in my review, what's going to determine whether or not we're still talking about this in a year from now, is what's going to happen next. Now, I mean, like Destiny,
Yeah.
for example. I know a lot of people felt Destiny was like horrible right out of the gates. Like, I know it got a lot of criticism, and it seems that they've improved things.
Uh huh.
So, time will tell regarding that front. Did you ever play Destiny, James? Because I haven't.
I never got a chance to.
Hmm.
No.
Yeah, me neither. So I'm curious to see how that works. Because whenever we talk about like role playing and shooter elements combined, right now
Yeah.
the big three are Borderlands, The Division, and Destiny. So at some point we
Yes.
should definitely see, one of us will have to test that out and see what it's all about. Maybe it will come to the PC. Maybe who knows though.
Yeah, that is kind of weird that it didn't. It almost seems like that's a game that you would almost think to see on the
Yeah.
PC just because it's an MMO. It has it has that shooter element to it. So yeah, that's weird that it never came there.
Yeah, definitely. But I guess to wrap up talking about the division, like right one of the things that just annoyed me was that it just ended. Like you do the UN
Uh,
mission and then
yeah.
it just like okay, well,
And
that's
that
it.
UN mission was fun,
Hmm.
but when the ultimate bad guy, I found it kind of odd that like the lack of enemy variety was just a problem.
Hmm.
And I think that's something that game, I don't know if it's always going to suffer from that, but I know it's definitely
Hmm.
what it suffered from was the lack of enemy variety and the very fact that like your enemy, these and it's guy with gun
Hmm.
every corner. Now at the very end you're like helicopter, cool.
Hmm.
Uh Okay. Spoilers for anybody who has not played it. I apologize. But it was like helicopter is not enough of a variety to counteract every single boss, which is guy or girl with gun.
Hmm.
Which yeah, just I could not stand that. That just it got old fast.
Yeah. And they could have done more with the bosses on that front. Like have a boss that
Yeah.
is like jeep, like a
Uh huh.
rat ride out jeep that all the
Yeah.
guys are hanging from it, or
Uh-huh. Yeah. Like really give us that end of the world, maybe throw a little Mad Max in there. I just again there just wasn't a lot of
Yeah.
variety, which made the again that's one of those games that you can tell it just got stale after a while.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what you were doing.
Mhm. Yeah, and again, like I would love to see things grow because I think there's definitely merit in the design. I think they did do a lot of good things with it, but
Yeah,
it's missing what's going to keep people coming back to in the same way that Destiny's been doing, World of
yeah,
Warcraft, and
yeah.
any other MMO based
And
game you can think of.
yep, yep, and that's part of the problem.
Hmm.
If you're going to call yourself an MMO,
Hmm.
you best have end game MMO content. If you don't, you are going to suffer. You're not going to break into a mark because if you drop the name MMO, you
Hmm.
drop the name MMO, or even have that MMO like. You're not you have a lot to go up against you. You
Hmm.
have people that have been piling down hours and hours and hours to create perfect MMOs. You know what I mean? You're going to go up against a lot like right now, and even for the console, speaking specifically from the console, there's a lot of MMOs out on the console
Hmm.
nowadays. Like
Yeah.
it's gotten more. It's not it is not yesteryear. This is not your granddaddy's console anymore. Like we have MMOs now, and we're gonna judge people that come out and be like, "Oh, well, this is a new MMO." Okay, well, how do you hold up to what we already have?
Yeah. And
So
more importantly, how do you add how do you keep it sustained? Because I mean, World
yes,
of
yeah.
Warcraft. I mean, my God, I can't even. I don't even want to know how many man hours have been applied to World of Warcraft over the
Oh
last.
yeah.
I guess it's going on 12 years now. I think that's
Oh
been out.
yeah. Yeah. I think they're on 12, definitely.
So this was the thing that led to the MMO crash of the mid thousands. Everyone wanted to be the next WoW, so they all try and copy WoW, and they all, or the majority of them, just crashed and burned.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see again what happens with Division, Destiny, and who knows what else is coming down the pipeline.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, I will always give developers props for trying something new. Props for
Hmm.
and the division did do that. But it's one of those people learn from the mistakes. After you've tried something new, see where it went wrong, see what they could have fixed, what did they need to change,
Hmm.
and I think that was
Hmm.
part of the issue is I don't think they took enough of a hard look
Hmm.
at I don't think they took enough of a hard look at what fully makes an MMO. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure they took a big look at it,
Hmm.
but was it enough? Did it keep us engaged? And at the now, I do think there are more patches that the came out with,
Hmm.
and that there's more to do with those patches
Yeah.
But as far as how they're doing with that stuff, I honestly don't know. Again,
Hmm. And again, they spend so much time working on patch 1.4, which is like their big way of fixing all the problems and issues fans have reported on.
yeah.
So, again, as we've said, it's going to be from this point on what's going to come next that's going to decide whether or not the division is going to last or not.
Yeah.
All right, I think with that, let's move on to the big
Yeah.
topic then. Well, another big one, and that is based on today's post and critical thought. This is on a very interesting topic. I just found out this last night that they've unveiled video game gambling machines. It's from a company called Gameco, and they've been working on this for a while now. They're patenting the technology and the algorithms for it. And excuse me, what they're trying to do is essentially create a skill-based gambling platform. As we
Mm.
know, most gambling outside of poker or any kind of card playing is up to probability and chance. Doesn't
Hmm.
matter what you do at a slot machine. It's all been decided long before you put in a quarter or a dollar or whatever.
Yeah.
So they knew that, and this was designed explicitly to target millennials, the 30 to 40-year-olds who have grown up on games and they're not interested in slot machines. And so they're trying to get them hooked on this. And like I said in the post and critical thought, I am not a fan of gambling. I come from a family of gamblers. I don't want to see more of that in the video game industry. And what they're doing is how it works. You play a first person shooter. If you get 6 or more kills, you get a payout from that. And you can bet different denominations, 25 cents, $50, whatever is set up for that specific machine.
Yeah.
And they're saying that it's built around the player's skill. So someone who's good at first person shooting can make a lot of money. But my BS senses are going off when I was watching that.
Uh-huh.
Like, it just seems, the old saying, if it's too good to be true, it
True, it
probably
probably
is.
is. Yeah. It's like when you put money into that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
whatever happened with didn't Diablo 3 tried to do money-based stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With the real money auction house system.
Yeah, with the real money auction house. So,
And that, they said, of course, at the start, they said, oh, that had no effect on the game or RNG or probability or anything like that.
uh-huh.
And then it was all proven to be a complete lie. They
Yeah.
did skew the RNG for finding new loot because they
hmm
wanted to get people to spend money and use the real money auction house system.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see, and I think that's something that the video gaming industry is going to have to deal with sooner or later.
Mm-hmm.
What do
What?
we do when real money comes into play?
Mm-hmm.
And
And yeah, but we're seeing like small ripplings of that over the last year.
yeah,
There's been cases of people being arrested for promoting gambling. There's a giant gambling ring around CS:GO skins and digital items.
yeah,
And I think you're right, James, that it's going to be one of those things that the industry will have to, officially put their foot down on one or on either side, or pick a
hmm
side and decide what they're going to do.
yep.
And
So, hmm.
and I think, as you just said, regarding when money becomes a factor, it changes things.
Yeah. And as to what it changes, I think remains to be seen because we haven't really done enough of it. I mean, right
Mm-hmm.
now, uh, and let's put it this, I think people, a lot of gamers want that,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't really understand or know what that all entails.
Yeah.
It's like what, I don't think they know fully what it is they do want.
Mm-hmm. And again, like the gambling sort of say, oh well, we're making this for the fans, for the people who love gambling. But
Yeah, but I don't think you
we,
realize because like in when it comes to video game, as far as like being good, especially in first person shooters,
hmm
there is a select group of elite people who do nothing but play first
hmm
person shooters
or
and
fighting games or
or fighting
MOBAs or
games.
you
Yeah.
name it.
So I mean, yes, while this uh gives them a chance to really, do something, make a little money on the side.
hmm
Um, I don't know. I think you're getting to a sticky wicket because you're going to have people who aren't professionals and still want to make that kind of money and are going to get very sour when they can't do that.
hmm Yeah, and that's the point. Like, if I take a pro first-person shooter player to your casino, have him sit in front of your game, is he going to clean you out of house and home?
Yeah, yep, yep. It's like that kind of reminds me of what are they called? The people who
Card sharks?
card sharks, the card sharks. That's what. Yep. Or even what's the other one? There's another one too. Like
Uh,
people who count cards, like card
yeah.
counters
hmm
too. Like that's also, they can't a lot if they get caught, they're banned from casinos.
Yeah.
So
But that's a case where they're using like those kinds of
they're
rules.
cheating.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
this is a case where we bring in someone who's a master at this game. They're not cheating at it.
they're
They're
playing the game the way it's supposed to be
yeah.
played. Yeah. Are
And
you going to punish them for that
hmm
because you're losing money?
yeah. And they say that the maps are not randomly generated; they're randomly picked from their own pool. which means they've designed maps explicitly around, this would be easy to get, 6 kills in 43 seconds or 45. This one could
Yeah.
be very hard. So what's stopping the machine from just picking all the hard maps and then, maybe like 1 out of 500 gives you the super easy, you can get a jackpot within like 20 seconds kind of
Yeah.
situation.
Yep.
And that's the thing. They can say that it's going to be fair, but I don't believe it is. And it goes back to the arcade industry with how things were metrics driven for a long time. They said you could beat these arcade machines, but they were designed, to be incredibly difficult and to get money rather than providing entertainment.
Yeah.
And I think with something like this, and they're saying that if this goes accordingly, like if this is a big hit, they may want to do like video game casinos.
Yeah.
Actually convert like other video games to their kind of formula.
Yeah.
But then that goes back to what we are saying, like, what is the industry's take on this? Will publishers like EA, Take-Two, or even game developers want to see their games be turned into gambling machines?
Yeah, and it's one of. Do you think? I think for them, especially when it comes to EA, they want to know what the profit count is going to be on that before they make their final decision, because the profit count is going to determine everything.
Oh, yeah.
Is this making money? If so, how can we do it?
And we've seen developers, especially in the free-to-play and monetization route, try to use every trick in the book to get you to spend money.
Oh yeah, yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Every trick other than gambling.
And now we may actually have that option.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Now, I could see, like, again, whenever we start talking about gambling, it really opens up that Pandora's box, because you just don't know how far they're willing to go with this. Like, they could have actual, like, betting on video games. I'm sure people bet on, championship matches. I'm pretty sure that must be going on at some point in this world.
Yeah,
someplace.
I don't know how that would even work as far as like, like are they betting on like things like like League of Legends championships or
StarCraft.
StarCraft,
And again, it just seems like someone was saying, like, this is something you can do this, but it doesn't seem like something you should be doing.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what to think of this. Like I said, I'm not a fan of gambling, and the less of it, I think, the better. But
Yeah.
the cynic in me says that this will probably be a big success for them.
Well, I feel like it's going to be. I think it's going to be a hit or miss. It's going to be either, oh my God, this has gone off really, really great, or I don't feel like it's not going to be. Oh, there's a couple of kinks. I feel like it's either going to go really good, and they're going to thrive, or it's going to go really bad, and people are going to shut it down.
Yeah.
And when it comes to gambling, you're going to see this maybe even go to like the courts. Real fast, and that's the kind of level of this could go bad. This could go bad.
Yeah. And again, they're testing this right now in Atlantic City, and if this goes well, they'll try and roll this out in Las Vegas and any other states with casinos. But it's still too soon to tell on this. But I think, like, as we've seen with companies like Konami, they're really getting into the arcade and the gambling scene with some of their games. But
Yeah.
I don't know, if this is a direction the industry wants to go. But again, we will have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be wait and see. Yeah.
All right. I think with that, I think we can wrap things up for tonight. Just one other question, because I've seen, I don't see a lot of people watching this live. Do you think, James, that it would be better for us to record something like this? We'll still do the videos and put up as a recording instead of doing it as a live show? Or do you think that it'll be good to have something live once a week?
I think it'll be good to have both.
Okay.
Is it possible to record this while we're doing it live?
Well, this is being recorded on YouTube and will be posted.
Oh yeah. Then yeah, no, I think it's fine. Just
Okay.
Again,
It's still about growing.
yeah. Well, the more YouTube people we get, I think the more it's gonna have a chance to grow. So,
All right. So I think with that, we're going to wrap it up for tonight's little live show. Again, James, it was great hanging out with you tonight,
yeah,
and
definitely. Too,
I'll be
man.
looking forward to next week.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so for those of you watching, once again, thank you for everyone who has been liking, following, and subscribing. If you're new, be sure to subscribe as we are so close to 900, and then
Yeah.
we're getting there to 1,000, and
Hmm.
it seems like a long way away, but we were once at 400, 300, and I mean it's
Uh-huh.
happening.
Yeah. Look at that, man. We're almost
Hmm.
at 1,000 viewers. Huh?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for supporting this channel. Tell your friends, tell
Hmm.
your family about it, and just give us a
Hmm.
like.
Yeah. And be sure, of course, check out GameWisdom.com for daily posts, and of course the Twitch stream for usually daily streams. All right, I think with that, we're going to wrap it up here. There will be a podcast up for tomorrow. I have no idea who it is, though, because we're so out of order with so many casts, but I'll
Mhm.
hopefully find that out later tonight. But otherwise, I'm once again Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com, where we examine the art and science of games. Thanks again for watching. Have a great night, and we will see you live next week. Take care. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and of course share with your friends. It always helps out. For daily posts on all manner of game design and industry topics, check out game-wisdom.com. To support the site and everything that I do, be sure to check out the Patreon campaign. If we can hit goals, it will mean more content for everyone to enjoy, and I'll be able to support myself and my household. If you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at GWBicer for updates throughout the day and random thoughts from me. And lastly, you can find me on Twitch right over there at GWBicer for daily streams most nights around 10 Eastern. Thanks again for watching the video, and be sure to check out more great content coming to the Game Wisdom channel real soon.